All right, and welcome to episode 9 of the Indiana on Tap podcast presented by Bottoms Up. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, Anita Johnson of Great Fermentations. Can't wait for you to hear this conversation. Let's do it. Did you know anybody that went to Dark Lord Day yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Omar
yeah.
Robinson went.
Of course.
John Hill went.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Lord Hill.
Lord Hill went.
Made the trek.
I did
That's
not go.
Awesome. Not obviously. It seems like the second year in a row, just horrible weather.
Oh, can you imagine how bad that would have been?
Oh my lord! I've heard that the rain wasn't, or the wind wasn't as bad as it was last year, but still just high 40s, low 50s, and just spitting rain all day. Yeah.
And a mud pit.
In a mud pit, right? You've been up to Three Floyds, obviously. Like there's no tree coverage, there's no pavement, no. Yeah, it's bare bones up there, but people seem to have had a good time.
Well, you know what? That's great beer. It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah, it is. It truly probably one of like the most like must attend festivals out there. At least I'd say. Yeah,
you know, it's got a really great vibe.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's super cool. Maybe one
it's a
day
must
I'll go.
do.
Yeah, I've never done it before, so.
Me either.
Yeah, there are already. Or I was looking last night, like during dinner. There are already people posting this year's variants for sale on the internet.
Oh.
For upwards of like $500-$600.
Really?
Yeah, for a bottle, just one.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if any beer would ever taste like it was $600 worth.
You know what? You took the words right out of my mouth.
Right. It always comes back to this story I heard from comedian and podcaster Mark Maron. He was doing stand up one time, and he told a story about how he was interviewing Jack White of the White Stripes, and he went to his house in Nashville, and Jack White had this huge wall of these old tube amps, and they don't make tube amps a lot anymore. So when you find them, they're rare and expensive. And Mark's like, oh, how much do those cost? And he's like, $14,000 each.
Ooh.
And Mark said, financially I'm at a place where I could afford one of those, but I know as soon as I get home and I plug it in and I plug a guitar or my turntable through it, I'm going to sit there and be like, no, this doesn't sound like $14,000.
Yeah, I know.
So that's definitely framed every purchase I've made since then.
I can't imagine taking a sip of that beer and thinking this sip is tens of dollars.
Right. Just for the sip.
Yeah.
Oh.
And how long I would have to savor it in my mouth to make it worth it.
I know. You'd probably be holding it in your mouth for a long time.
I think so.
Yeah. So we are joined today by Anita Johnson of Great Fermentations. She's guesting for us. Sarah and Drew are both out of the office for today, so we thought we'd have our good friend Anita on.
Oh, well, I'm glad to be here.
You doing okay?
I am doing great. And with this beer by my side, it's even better.
Right. So we are drinking Slow Gold, the American wheat from Indiana City. Oh. Yeah, it's we've had it on for a while, and it just always tastes really good, and everybody agrees on it.
It's really refreshing. It's got a nice creamy head on it still. Yeah,
even though I think 4 or 5 episodes ago I asked for an IPA. Still waiting on that, Brad. So
Brad.
He's smiling. He knows. I'm kidding. Yeah.
You got to deliver what the talent wants.
People are listening, Brad. No. So, Anita, we start every episode looking back on the week back and thinking about the best beer that we had in the previous week.
Okay, there are two.
There are two. Oh, great.
There are two. There's a
Double
commercial
duty.
And there's a homebrew.
Okay.
You
awesome.
ready?
Yeah.
The commercial was Velvet Fog.
Ooh, I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's from Sun King. It's a barrel-aged sour.
Okay.
It's delicious.
Part of their King's Reserve series?
It is.
Okay, great.
That was delicious.
Yeah.
And then the second one is from Brady Smith, one of our guys. He makes a German Pilsner that is to die for. It is dead on awesome.
You don't hear a lot about homebrewers making like Pilsners just because the process is, more difficult, takes more time.
No, but he does a lot of study, and he really has worked on this recipe, and he entered it in NHC, National Homebrew Competition. He got the score sheets back, looked at the score sheets, kind of drank the beer along with it, and completely understood exactly what he needed to do to make it a gold medal winner.
Awesome.
And that's what he's doing.
That's very cool.
So he's doing a great job.
Nice. He's going to enter it again next year?
He's going to enter it in the Brewers Cup. So
awesome.
Beware.
Very cool. We'll be looking out for it.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd have to say probably the best beer I had this past week. I volunteered with Josh Hambright at Central State. We canned up their...
oh, you lucky dog.
We canned up their most recent run of house beer. Mm-hmm. So got to drink a couple cans of the shorts right off the canning line.
Ooh.
And that beer, when it's fresh, is... Even when, it's a few days old, it's fine. But no, that beer right off the canning line was amazing.
I saw some... one of our guys brought it in and put it in the cooler, but I didn't get a taste. What's it taste like?
So it's a... I think they call it sort of a rustic farmhouse ale. So it's a really traditional, very minimal tartness to it, sort of saison almost. Yeah, really nice. It'd be like perfect lawnmower beer, perfect beer to take to the Speedway in the month of May. It's got this beautiful bright red can. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So does it have a lot of clove in it, or does it not have a lot of
No,
clove?
Not a lot of clove. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
good.
very almost traditional, flavor to it. Probably the most normal of the beers that Central State actually makes. Yeah, but absolutely delicious. Yeah.
I'm going to have to try that one.
Yeah, I should have brought some today. They gave me some. So,
Darn you.
I'll remember next time.
Don't you have any in your cooler? Are you holding out on
I
me?
have tons in my fridge, actually, yeah. So, Anita, I'm really glad that you're here today because I thought it'd be a good time to discuss our opinions on exit strategies for the Middle East.
No.
Of course, kidding. Yeah. I was
thank
thinking of that
goodness.
one on the way over.
Whew.
I was thinking of that one on the way over to break the ice. No, we wanted to have you on today, sort of talk a little bit about things that are going on at Great Fermentations. You got some big things coming up through the month of May. Any special things going on, as well as talk about maybe you a little bit.
Well, let's talk about what's happening at Great Fermentations
Absolutely.
first.
Yeah.
So next weekend, Saturday, is National Homebrew Day.
Okay, and that's May 7th?
That's May 7th.
Awesome.
And we just call that Big Brew.
Right.
And we have a big celebration at Great Fermentation. So it's an all-day affair. Mm-hmm. People can brew in the parking lot. If they brew in the parking lot, it's 20% off ingredients. You can come out and strut your stuff and show us your brewing prowess and all your brewing equipment. Then we set up a little area for people to buy and sell homebrew stuff. So it's like an old time swap meet. So somebody's old discards or their upgrade is their old equipment is somebody else's upgrade.
Right.
So we just let that go on. We've got music by the Barefoot Haulers, and the homebrew clubs will be there serving beer and kind of. The Foam Blowers Homebrew Club is going to calibrate thermometers, which is an important thing.
Yeah, very cool.
And let's see, the Monk Club on the west side is going to bring a microscope and a hemocytometer.
I don't even know what that is. You could have just made that up and I wouldn't know.
Well, I can barely say it. I've never used one, obviously. I can barely say it. But it's all about yeast count and looking at yeast and what kinds of things can spoil your beer and then how to treat yeast.
Very
They're
cool.
doing that. Caleb from Sugar Creek Malt is going to be in Avon talking about how to read a malt analysis. So what all those numbers mean, what protein and fine grind, grist, and all of that mean. And then let's see, we've got Matt from Wild Pitch coming up from Bloomington.
Very cool.
And he's going to talk about collecting yeast in Indianapolis.
Very cool.
So there's a lot of, our own Brandon Meyer is going to talk about water profile for brewing.
Which is very important, especially in the city of Indianapolis.
It's super important,
Yeah.
and honestly, I think he's got it down. It's the
Awesome.
best discussion of water chemistry and water adulteration I've ever seen.
Very cool.
So we've got a lot of good things going on. It's all free.
Yeah. I went last year and hung out for a good hour or so. The foam blowers are pouring beer, talking with them, drinking their beer for a while, and going to Great Fermentations is like going to Toys R Us like a kid. Like, yeah, it's such a great feeling walking in and being like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, this is great. Ooh, what's this? Can I have this? Do I need this? Yeah, gotta have it. Yeah,
gotta have it. It just jumps in your hand.
Exactly. Yeah, it's great. So, how long have you been doing the Big Brew on National Homebrew Day?
Well, I have to tell you, we didn't do it for a long time because I ran the mini.
Okay.
And you can't be two places at once.
No.
So we've been doing it about 5 or 6 years.
Okay, very cool. Yeah. Have you seen the crowd sort of grow with it each year? The people that are coming and hanging out in the parking lot during the day and brewing, as well as people coming to the store and hanging out just to hang out?
We have an awful lot of people coming and going that day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's grown considerably. Oh, you know what else I forgot? It's double points weekend, too.
Oh, there you go. So if you're looking for new equipment, looking for new ingredients kits, come on and down to Great Fermentations.
Saturday is a day to buy.
Saturday, May 7th, double points for, all you scrimpers and savers out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sort of, where'd the inspiration come to do a day like that on National Homebrew Day? Obviously, they go hand in hand, but a light bulb had to go off somewhere to do something like that.
I think we are all it's sponsored by the National Homebrew or the American Homebrewers Association. Okay. So we just kind of dovetailed onto their event.
Yeah.
But we at Great Fermentations are always looking for a good party.
That's
and it's
right.
a good party.
This
and
is
there's going to be good beer. Mm-hmm. We have a kind of a cool thing. One of our guys started blending a blonde with some wine that he made.
Okay.
And made a shandy.
Oh.
So we have that.
Very cool.
We have some of our new Brewers Reserve beer that's going to be released today, actually. That's
awesome.
I think it's a Imperial White IPA.
Wow.
Yeah.
We may have to cut this short so I can head over there. Who made that?
Wes did.
Wes, okay.
Wes is our primary brewer.
Yeah, Wes is the man. You've got a great one in Wes. Yeah. And he's leaving on a trip soon, right? He's going to.
Oh yeah, he's going to spend a couple days or a couple weeks in Japan.
Yeah.
Which I think is hilarious because Wes is really tall and gangly.
Yeah. He's
going to be a giant.
Yep, he will stick out like a sore thumb. It'll be hilarious. Mm-hmm. Is he going to scout out any beer over there?
Oh, I can't imagine that he wouldn't. He's always on a beer hunt.
Definitely. I've heard I have a friend whose wife is from Japan, and they went over there a couple months ago to visit her family, and he said the homebrew scene there is really starting to take off, but everything is so jerry-rigged because there's no supply shops, there's no big craft beer culture there. Right. So you're really at the beginning of this cultural shift in Japan, at least, in the craft beer world.
I saw that when I was in Korea as well. Yeah? I went to Korea, Seoul Homebrew.
Okay.
And he spoke a little bit of English. I spoke no Korean.
Yeah.
But there was international diplomacy through beer.
Right.
We walked in. We looked around. He showed us what he was selling. Mm-hmm. We drank beer together. It was a really cool thing. And so beer really unites us.
Well, as we like to say on the podcast, and our producer Brad can attest to this, beer does change the world.
It does.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to give Trump some beer.
Maybe that'll loosen him up a little bit.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, do you have anything else going on? Any at the shop? Any cool specials, classes coming up, guests coming in?
We've got something. We have a really neat class called Make and Take.
Okay.
So for $79, you get the ingredients to make a 1 gallon equipment kit. Mm-hmm. The ingredients to make a 1 gallon batch of wine, and it's a varietal wine. It's not like cherry.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's Merlot, Cab.
Right.
And then we do all this. We start step 1 in the class while we drink a lot of wine, have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Learn a little bit about winemaking. You take your fermenting wine home and finish it. And so you're kind of on your way. You've gotten started.
Right.
We
with a helping hand.
Yep, we talked you through the whole process. You go home, finish it, and you'll have 5 bottles of great table wine at the end.
Awesome.
And equipment to do more.
Awesome.
So that's $79. We do that all the time.
I imagine that's a pretty popular.
It is a pretty
too.
popular. Yeah.
Do you have people coming out like just looking for something fun during the day? Do you have people coming out that are looking to get into winemaking?
We really have both.
Good.
It's people who want to have an event together.
Yeah.
People who want to have a team building event.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then people who really want to learn about wine and are a little afraid, and so they start small and then step into it.
Now that's an area that I don't think, through past discussions with you, that a lot of people know that Great Fermentations, carries winemaking supplies as well as soda. We've talked in the past about your CO2 refills and everything. There's a lot of stuff that Great Fermentation does that's not just beer related.
Right. Oh gosh. We sell all the ingredients and equipment to make beer, but we also we have over 100 different wine kits. Right. And by wine kit, I mean everything to make a varietal wine. And so you can make 30 bottles for $72, or you can make 30 bottles for $175. Mm-hmm. And the difference is how much juice and concentrate, where that juice and concentrate comes from. The better stuff comes from Stag's Leap, Barossa Valley, Lodi. Mm-hmm. So you're getting juice not from raisin manufacturers,
right,
but from
grapes made for wine.
Exactly, and from AVAs or specific areas that are known for that variety. Right. And honestly, I don't want to diminish my wine, but if you can stir and you can follow directions, you can make good wine. Yeah. Seriously.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing, almost the same thing with home brewing. Obviously paying attention to the little things like sanitation and timing and everything.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. Or cooking in the kitchen or baking, just, follow the directions. They're all laid out for you. Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, all of this is really just an extension of cooking. So anybody that was interested in cooking would love this hobby. Whether it's beer or wine or soda or cider or mead. Right. We sell stuff to make fermented vegetables. Mm-hmm. I make some pretty darn good sauerkraut, dill pickles. I just did fermented beans, fermented garlic, which is delicious.
I've had fermented garlic.
It's real, or pickled.
Pickled, yeah. So where'd sort of that inspiration come from to add that to the Great Fermentations portfolio?
It's all fermentation.
Fermentation.
I think you'll see some sourdough stuff and a little bit of bread stuff coming out of us too, but or part of our portfolio as well. But really, anything that's fermented, you can probably find at Great Fermentations.
And is that where sort of the love came from to start the shop, or was it about beer really at the beginning, and then you realized, this is all sort of linked together? Yeah.
You know what? I drank my first kind of craft beer in 1982. Okay. Which is a long time ago, and it really wasn't craft. Born yet. Oh, stop. Oh, you make me feel so bad. Well, Can't
you tell by my baby face and my?
I can't see your face.
I know. I learned this week that all the rage now is the face swap and the face filters on like Snapchat. Yeah. And I can't do it because the camera can't find my mouth. So I have to miss out on all that fun.
Thankfully, you can find your mouth with a cup.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That motion's pretty easy. Yeah. So 1982. Yeah.
1982, I found Augsburger Dark in Chicago. It was during my summer job. I wasn't 21 yet. And I was a rule breaker.
Statute of limitations up on that. You're fine.
I was a rule breaker even then. And I loved it. And then we just kind of looked around for beer that wasn't Bud Miller and Coors. Right. And then a friend of mine, Joe Gula, said, hey, I make my own beer. And I was like, oh, that sounds so cool. And he took my husband and I in his basement, and we walked up to his kegerator, and he poured a pint of beer. And I thought, oh my God, that is so cool. And to that point, that was the best beer I'd ever had. And I said, what's it going to take for you to come and teach me how to do this? And he said, make me dinner. And I said,
hey, fair trade.
I'm a good cook. What do you want? And he said, fish sticks and macaroni and cheese out of a box. And that's what we did.
Awesome.
He taught me how to brew, and it just became a passion. And then through that, I kind of, beer's my first love.
Yeah.
I make wine as well. But I love to cook. I really love to cook. And, all these other things kind of added on because of that.
Right.
I like good food. I like good beer.
Of course.
And wine.
And thankfully, all three of those go really well together.
They do.
Now, you have a very eclectic but knowledgeable staff as well. People that they all seem to specialize in one thing or another, with beer making, wine making, fermenting, with equipment. You have somebody that sort of specializes in the hop rhizomes and the growing of hops. How have you sort of assembled that team? What are you looking for when you're bringing people on, or do you train them to focus on one thing when they join your Great Fermentation staff? Like,
you know what? A lot of people want to work at Great Fermentations because they have a passion for the hobby. And that's what I look for.
Right.
Do you have a passion for the hobby? And then once you do, and it typically comes from our customers. Our employees come from our customers. And when I see that, I recruit it. We have retired people. And they are actually, one of those guys is quite a gadgeteer. The other one is quite a master of pro mash, beersmith on it's software to design beers.
Right.
And then we've got sour people. We have microbiologists. We have guys that love sourdough. We have guys that make kimchi.
Right.
Everybody kind of fell into their place. But what we look for when we hire is somebody that wants to be there because of a passion.
Right.
Because we can't teach it fast enough. We can't just take somebody off the street and teach them what we do.
Right.
Because there's too much.
Right. And the people that are coming into the shop are relying on your staff to lead them in the right direction. Right. Right.
So a lot of times the people that work for us are part-timers, or they're retired, or in all honesty, they come to us to learn to go on and be a brewer somewhere else. So we have become known as kind of a hunting ground for local home.
Yeah, it is. It's really interesting thinking about the history of craft beer, at least in Indianapolis, and how much has branched off of, obviously Broad Ripple Brew Pub, and then how much has branched off of Great Fermentations and Beer Brewery up there in your little corner on 65th. Right. Do you take like a sense of pride in that, or?
All of those people, we have a big family tree.
Yeah.
All of those people did it on their own. And I was a facilitator. And in that, I feel like a proud mama.
Right. Yeah. I can tell by your smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really proud. I mean, there are a lot of professional brewers that work for us or we're customers.
Right. Yeah. So obviously, that should be like a decent incentive out there for, aspiring brewers too. Maybe hop on the Great Fermentations wagon. Yeah.
Well, sure.
Yeah. You can go on down and talk to Anita if you're looking for a big brew job, I guess.
Well,
you'll have to work for it, but
you will learn, because we learn from our customers every day. We learn what not to do.
Right.
We learn what to do. And we also learn that sometimes we need to back off on being the beer Nazi.
Right.
You know, we tend to be real geeky about it, and not everybody is, and they're successful. So that teaches us something as well.
Right.
But we get all the new hops. We get
Oh, yeah.
all the new grain.
Oh, yeah.
We can, suppliers send us stuff to try out. You know, we can tell you kind of what's out there, what's cool, what works.
Yeah, I bet you've got
And we will.
Yeah, I bet you got the scoop on all the cool
We
new
do.
stuff.
We do.
Yeah. So now, so you've got 2 locations. Is there anything coming down the pipeline? Maybe opening up a 3rd one somewhere? You got any extra scoop you want to give to our listeners about that today?
Oh, well, I've got some side projects going on,
side
but
project.
yeah,
Okay.
some side projects, but we don't have any. We're not ready to announce nor
Okay.
any more retail
Okay.
stuff. But you know, if you're out there and we're not near you, we have a website that is well designed, easy to use.
Right. And you can get the equipment or things that you order from the website delivered to you, right?
Oh,
And you can do pickup in the store also, right?
You can.
Right.
But here's the thing. If you're in central Indiana and you order by 3:00, you'll have it the next day.
Wow.
That's pretty incredible. And it's
pretty
$8.99
awesome.
shipping. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's, especially in the middle of summer when yeast is vulnerable to the heat in a UPS or a FedEx truck.
Right. You don't want to put all your cards in it,
Buy local.
Yeah, exactly. Buy local. I had another question for you, and now I can't remember.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either. And
But
now
I
I'm
will tell you
struggling.
that we have a lot of beer judges on staff.
That's right. So, do you get a lot of people that bring like their homebrew in and say, taste this? What are you tasting?
We do. And that's part of our service. And that's part of our perks too, because we learn by tasting.
Right.
So people are welcome to bring in beers and have us taste it and kind of talk with them and figure out what's right, what's wrong, what they need to fix, what they're doing really well. So we do a lot of that.
Okay.
In fact, there's some sitting in my cooler right now that I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh man, how unfortunate.
I know.
Yeah.
I need to get to work.
I know. So lastly, I guess we can ask, so somebody's out there that's listening to this podcast or they're watching it on YouTube, that, has been thinking about getting into home
Wait,
brewing.
we're on YouTube?
Yeah, we get up on the YouTube.
They're going to see how much I drank?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, yes. Yeah. And stunning 1080p high def quality on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, sorry for them.
So somebody that's watching or listening to this podcast that's heard about all the great things that Great Fermentations offers, that has been thinking about getting into beer making, wine making, fermenting, what's the one thing you could say to sort of, give them the spark to come in and, walk into Great Fermentations and get started?
It really is this. It's not any harder than cooking. And so you've got local experts. Sure, you can go out and YouTube it. You can go to a ton of websites, but you know that the people that work for us do what you do. They can give you expert advice. And honestly, I think just for your listeners, if they came in and they wanted to get equipment to start, we could probably give them a discount.
Oh, you hear that, listeners?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're looking for an incentive to finally get into home brewing, fermenting, making wine,
mention Indiana on Tap.
yeah, mention the Indiana on Tap podcast, and
We'll give you 20% off your
they'll
equipment.
give you 20% off. That's a pretty generous offer.
That is pretty generous.
Yeah. Of course, you
got to
always
say
generous.
Indiana on Tap, though.
You have to say Indiana on Tap, and specifically mention my name too. Just get it out there. Yeah. Just kidding. No. Well, that's very generous from you, Anita. You're always generous, both in your time and talking about your business, and so we're very, very happy and fortunate to have you here today.
Well, thank you. I
hope
really
you had
appreciate
fun.
it. I did.
Hope you enjoyed your beer.
I did.
Yeah. And so just a reminder, next week is Saturday, May 7th, Big Brew Day. It's National Homebrew Day. So get on down to Great Fermentations at the 65th Street location.
No, both locations.
Both locations. So yeah, so if you're on the west side of town, or you can get to Avon easier, you can hit their Avon location as well.
Right. You can see everything that's happening at greatfermentations.com.
That's right.
/Big Brew.
Okay, great. So you've got your website there to find all your information on what's going on during the day. Get out and celebrate National Homebrew Day. Get out and buy your first homebrew kit. Get brewing.
Drink a homebrew.
Drink a homebrew too. Yeah, support your local homebrewers.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Anita, thank you so much for coming today.
You're so welcome.
Yeah,
I had a good time.
Yeah, it's always great seeing you.
You too.
All right, for Indiana on Tap, my name's Adam Schick, and for Anita Johnson, thanks for listening.